Okay, close your eyes, palms together. The blessing from the Guru and Goddess. Thoughts. If you are done, slowly open your eyes. Okay. Today I have to finish our class in an hour because of the Amavasya. Okay. Let's start our class today. As usual, we'll start with our daily planetary position. I hope everyone can see the screen and hear my voice. Yes?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Awesome. Okay, let's start with the today's chart. As usual, first thing you have to know where is the moon is. So the moon is in Karka. It's moon is in Karka along with the Suryan, and then we have to see the yearly planets: Sunny, Rahu, and Ketu. Rahu in Meena, Ketu in the Kanni Rasi, Sunny in the Kumbha Rasi, Mangal is in Mangal is in Rishabha, Guru is also in the Rishabha. So once you understand this point, so whenever you see the Chandra, keep wherever your Lagna is, count where the Chandra is in the daily planetary position. That means in the Kocharam means daily planetary position. In the Kocharam, where the Chandra is from your Lagna. Take your Janana Jadakam, take the Kocharam, compare against from your Lagna, where is the Chandra will be. For an example, imagine the Lagna is the Magara Lagna. So this is from your Janana Jadakam, imagine the Lagna is the Magara Lagna. From this point, this is the Kocharam chart, right? From this point, okay, let me I put this Janana Jadakam out there. Consider the Janana Jadakam, the Lagna is in the Magara Rasi. So from this point, this is the Gochara chart, right? So from this point, in which place the Chandra was placed, in which
Seventh
house?
house. Seventh house.
Seventh house it was placed, right?
Yeah.
This is at the seventh house. Like that, you have to compare against the Gochar so that you can understand when the moon was traversing from one Rashi to the another, what kind of the emotion you are going through, what kind of the situations, what kind of the actions you are performing in your day-to-day life. You can make a note of it also. That will give you an interesting lesson, an interesting experience, and you can see the world in a different perspective. Okay, let's move on into the Pancham. The Pancham today is the Tithi is the Amavasya, the special day for the entire year. Because if you pray for your ancestors, it's the very best day to pray for an ancestors for that to seek their blessing. And this is also a very beautiful day for your meditation. And for this the entire Amavasya, if you are planning to meditation, this will give you a tremendous energy and you don't need to put extra effort to sit in your meditation. Once you close your eyes, your meditative state will go immediately. This is the best day for meditation. And that too, especially if the people who are born in the full moon on the new moon, when they sit on this particular day, they do the meditation, they will achieve the result. Consider the normal people will achieve the result in 27%. But when the people who are born on the full moon on the new moon, if they do the meditation today, they will achieve the benefit 27 times of the normal people. So that much benefit they will get. The tricky thing is they won't sit. Whatever you do, they won't sit. That's the thing. Okay, let's move into 100. Amavasya till 12 p.m. This is according to the India Panjab. So wherever the world you are living, see the Panjab when Amavasya was ends. Then the first Tithi will start, that is the Pratipada. Then the yoga is the Siddhi up to 108. Sometimes the yoga will contain 2 or 3, depends upon the yoga starts and the ends. Vyatipada, the yoga and Karana, we are not even had a brief discussion also. This is the point where I want you to familiar with the names. Then the weekday is the Ravivara, obviously the Sunday. Paksha is the Krishna Paksha. Okay, this is the day, the Krishna Paksha. Then from this days on, the Shukla Paksha will start because the moon is going to grow from today's on. Now it was the full moon, right? Sorry, new moon, Amavasya. And the nakshatra is the Pushya nakshatra, and this is also best nakshatra for meditation. Okay, one interesting thing about this Vara and Pushya, when there was a combination of the Ravi Vara, that is the week is a Sunday, and the nakshatra is a Pushya nakshatra, the energy level is really good. And if you go for a meditation with the combination of the new moon or the full moon, very wonderful day for meditation. And when this particular day was coming, the people like to buy the gold also. I don't know how many people will do that, but this is all the special days. This combination is very special. Ravi Vara and the Pushya Nakshatra, and also Guru Vara plus Pushya Nakshatra. If you go and buy any of the auspicious metal, that will grow in number of times. Okay, then next till 3:56 p.m. only. Then after that, Aslesha will come. Then Karana is the Nagava Karana, and up to 7:12. And another thing is the Kimstukna Karana, full night. Okay. When these people, the Kimstukna, there was special about this Karana. When these people, they try to search any fruit, when they picked up the one fruit, that fruit will be definitely will tasty, and definitely it will contain the worm inside also. Because these people can eat, their energy level can able to find out the fruit which is having the insect inside only. So when we find time, we'll talk about this Karana in more detail. Okay, that's about the Panjang. Let's move on into our next phase of our revision. See this Kalapurusha short for at least 30 seconds. Then we will move on into our revision. Then next thing is our today's class. Quickly, 30 seconds. Your time starts now. Okay, last few seconds. Okay, done with the Kalapurusha chart. Let's move on into today's revision. We quickly move on into this revision for the last week. Whatever we learned. First house mainly for the self, indicating the ascendant, indicating the person who Jataka means to the self, how he self, life, longevity, health, nature, appearance particularly. That's defined about the first house. Exactly in a simple way, how you can remember, the first house is the self. And the second house, the Dhanasthana, it represents your income of the wealth, how much bank balance you have, right? Self beyond wealth. This is the important thing. You may have the wealth from inheritance also, but this is the self beyond wealth. And loss and damage, worldly possession, defined by the Dhanasthana. And the third one is the Bhratusthana. This is about the courage. How much courage you have in your life, how much courage you will have to face the world. And also younger siblings, your younger brothers or the younger sisters, mainly about the younger brother and sisters and the courage and the intelligence and the communication. It's all about the media also. Anything about involving about the media, it comes under the third house. Short journey, third house. And the body parts, arms, right ear, shoulder. These peoples are well defined, and this house defined about the art, culture, and passion, and if you are involved in the sports or not. That's also defined in the third house. Fourth house is the Matru Bhava, that is your mother's, defining about your mother. Signifies your mother, property. These all the main things. Your mother, property, means domestic surroundings. What kind of the surroundings you are living, and the happiness. The important thing about this is it tells about your mother, about your property, and happiness. What makes you happy? What are the things which will bring the happiness into your life? And importantly, basic education. And this is about the inheritance. We saw about the self. You see in the second house, this is the self-earned wealth. And the fourth house define your inheritance also. And this is one of the house defined about your false allegation. There is one more house will come defined about your the false allegation also, but this is also defined about the false allegation. And the agricultural land, if you have human body, when it comes into the human body, breast, chest, heart, lungs, stomach, elbow, joints. It's easy to remember. You remember that, right? If the first house is for head and the face, second house for the right ear, and the face, you see this, right side, throat will come, right eye will come. And the third house is for your arms, right ear and shoulders. And the fourth house, it comes for your breast, chest. When the house is when the house is moving one, increase to one level, comes from your top of your head. Go from that. In the each part of your body is defined in every house, so that you can easily remember. Okay, let's come into the fifth house. It's the Putrasthana, that it defines your progeny, creativity, your innovative skills. Mainly the speculation related, any kind of the speculated related business is also defined in fifth house. Intellectual status, your luck, and mostly it's defined about the love affairs. And if you have any kind of the illegal amusements and other kidnap and other things. And when it comes into body parts, it represents the belly, liver, and the spleen. If you see, now we are coming into the fifth house. If you see, this is your first house, this is second house, this is your third house, this is your fourth house. Now this is your fifth house. So when the house was increased, you ascend from your top of the head and go through your entire body parts. Now we'll come into the fifth house. Fifth house is the belly, liver, and the spleen. Let's move into the sixth house. This is the Roga, Rena, Ripu Sthana. The order may differ. Some people will say Rena, Roga, Ripu, or Ripu, Roga, Rena. Don't worry about the things. The main thing is it represents about your disease, depths, and the enemies. Three main things. What kind of the disease you have? Okay, the difference between this disease and the when you are going to see in the eighth house, there was one thing. This disease will be recovered from this disease. It won't be with you for lifelong. You may be suffered with some disease, but definitely you will be recovered. That kind of the disease will be defined in the sixth house. In other words, any kind of the lifelong disease which you are going to have, that can be initiated at this point, the sixth house. And if you are not careful about that, it prolonged in your life, then that will be manifested in your eighth house. And that becomes your lifelong disease. Okay, that is your disease. Debts, if debts defined about all kind of your debts, whatever the way whichever you get from other people, all kind of the debts defined in your sixth house. The enemies can be enemies is the enemy, whether you have an enemy or not, whether you're able to conquer the enemy or not, or you can be friend with the enemy or not. Everything will be defined in the sixth house. Particularly, this is defined about your maternal uncle also, and particularly this is defined about the mother side. And the service and success, how your relationship with your subordinate is also defined in the sixth house. Sixth house is mainly for the job as well. And the body parts represents the kidney and the large intestine. Okay, let's move on into the seventh one. This is Jayasthana. That this is also Kalastrasthana. Define your spouse, your partners. The partners can be your business partners. Matters regarding about your spouse, particularly, and the partnership, spouse partnership, your love marriage, and the marital happiness. In your marriage, you will get happiness or not, or you're going to suffer in your marriage. Like you are able to get. Is this the you will have first marriage, second marriage, can also define from this seventh house. Okay, one interesting thing. the 7th house and the 9th house. If the 7th house auspicious was reduced than the 9th house, there is a high possibility the Jataka may end up into the second marriage. This we will learn about later in our classes, not now, because this is a little bit complicated. If one point we missed, we will end up in a wrong analysis. Okay? At this point, this is for the fun I told you. When the 6th, 7th house and the 9th house is highly related, and combined with, we have to see the other houses also when it comes into the marriage. When it comes into the marriage, you have to see Lagna, second house, and your 5th house, 7th house, 9th house, and the 11th house. There is a combination of the houses you have to see to find out your marriage life, how the marriage life will be. But particularly the 7th house represent your spouse, partners, the love marriage. And the body parts, reproductive organs, uterus, and the glands. Okay, that's all about the revision. Till now, anybody have doubts? Can we move into our today's class?
Yes, yes.
Okay, awesome. This is about the 8th house. Very interesting house. Okay. Anybody can tell about this 8th house? Whatever the things which you remember from your classes or from your learning, 8th house particularly.
Obstacles.
Obstacles. Then obstacles. Okay.
Longevity.
Transformation.
Secrets.
Secrets.
Occult
Okay.
in-laws.
Okay, in-laws.
Transformation.
Transformation. Okay, transformation. The transformation from
It talks about death also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll tell you that now. Okay. One important thing. I'm eager to hear that one. Any special about the 8th house? One special about this 8th house. Can I give you the clue? 3, 6, 8, and 12. What are they?
Dusthan.
Dustana. Okay,
Dustana.
Dustana. Okay, what is the Dustana means? The Dustana is the whatever the energy you received from the cosmic is will be and through the peripheral one. So you won't get the direct energy from the cosmic. Your energy will, the energy you receive, that you means the Jataka, the self, received from the cosmic will be very less, because due to it was the house will be on the peripheral side. So that's why the energy level will be highly reduced. Now come into the Mrityusthana. This define about your disease. So again, here the interesting thing. This you also see in the 6th house also disease. Here also disease. What is the difference? The difference is one thing. 6th house disease can be cured and it will be the short term. But when it comes into the 8th house, the disease will be the disease defined here will be lifelong. Will be with you for lifelong. The Jataka will have to face the obstacles for the disease for their entire life, or you have to be struggled with the disease for the entire life. And it also represents your death. How much the lifespan you will have in this plane in this lifetime, and it signifies about your mental pain particularly. Mostly we feel that the physically, whatever the things whatever the injuries we had, the pain is from the physical, but what mainly it's more than painful when you have the mental pain. That is also defined in the 8th house. This is the very interesting house. That's why I said you can able to understand one's mental pain through the 8th house.
Does it represent wealth also, Vanita? By any chance? 8th house?
The 8th house is not represent wealth. The wealth is from the 2nd house only. Here, the 8th house will represent a different way. The wealth, you can't derive it from here.
Okay.
But how you can derive it from the wealth? From what if there was an you earn many things, but how come you none of the saving, you don't have any kind of the savings? How come it will get away from you? Considered you yearn for your lifetime. But at the end of half of your life, you are spending for the diseases. Whatever you earned, you spend for the diseases. That they will be, you can understand from the eighth house. So what you have to do as an individual? So while you are earning also, you have to take care of your health, and you have to concerned about your health. So that precaution, what it will leads you, it will increase your prana. That's the main point here. Okay. One interesting thing about the eighth house is the defining of how much one can uphold or hold the prana in oneself. The end of the prana is the seventh house, and the prana will be defined in the eighth house. How much you can hold in you. Okay, for example, if you do the pranayama, some people will say in 10 to 15 minutes, they will say, I feel refreshed and I do marvelous things in my life. Okay. The people's like me, if you do for that 10 minutes, 20 minutes pranayama, nothing will happen. You won't feel even refreshed. Sometimes you feel you had a headache. When you say this kind of a thing to other people, they will definitely laugh at you, because you do the pranayama, you will get a headache. None of them will believe you. And because their experience was different. When you say to them, 10 and 15 minutes pranayama, nothing will help me. Okay, I increase into 30 minutes, it is not helping me. Yeah. When I increased into 1 hour, when I increased into one and a half hours, the pranayama will help you. This kind of the peoples will be there. And there is other kind of the people, they will tell you, okay, my pranayama will work in 10 to 15 minutes. Why it is difference? These people have to work for 1.5 hours, and these people have to work for only 10 to 20, 30 minutes. The 20 or 30 minutes, they feel very refreshed. How is it possible? Because the energy level they receive from the cosmos, based on your lagna which you born, it's all represent what kind of the body, the material you form, what kind of the 5 elements in your body. Okay, what I'm trying to say here was, this is also define your prana. And that prana will tell you whether you will end up in a disease or not. If your 8th house is not good, 8th house is inauspicious, was increased, take care of your health. Do pranayama regularly, particularly do pranayama regularly. The peoples who are born on the air level, what are the air element involved in the 12 rasis? Which is the air element? What are the air elements, rashis?
Gemini,
Mithuna,
Tula, Libra,
Tuna,
and
Tula,
Kumbha.
Kumbha. These
Kumbha.
these 3 rasi peoples have lots and lots of pranayama. If anybody was in these 3 lagnas, Mithuna, Tula, and Kumbha, then and definitely you have to do before you doing the pranayama practice. Okay, particularly these 3 rashis, you have to practice the Ashtanga yoga. That means the asanas for a certain amount of the time. Then once you feel your body is ready, go for a pranayama. Otherwise, you sit and meditate. You sit and do pranayama for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. It won't work on you, and it will give you a headache also. So once, if you belongs to these 3 rashis, equip your body first. Once you equip your body, do the Ashtanga yoga. Once your body was ready, then do the pranayama. Why in that case? Because the air flow which is increased. Whenever you do the pranayama, what it will happen? Your air flows upward. Why air have to flow upward? Then only your body will be refreshed. You feel the energy. You feel your the nadis will be purified, and the body blood will flow through immediately and smoothly also. For these people have to do the lots and lots of pranayama for their entire life. Okay, let's come back here. When you do when come into the disease, this disease represents the life. This is all. Some people will tell you the wealth also. It's not directly representing the wealth. As I told you earlier, second house and the other combination of the houses tells about your wealth. But this one will tell you that you're going to spend your entire wealth on the disease. You're going to spend your entire life for recovering your lifespan, or you safeguarding your lifespan. You are going to spend your entire wealth. That you will easily find out from here. but it won't directly tell you the wealth. You have to see the second house mainly, and other houses also. We'll see that how you can find the wealth related things particularly. Okay, let's come into here. It represents the death also. What kind of the death you will have? It can be smooth death or other kind of you the death you can define. You can understand from here what kind of the death you will have, and it represents your longevity also. As I told you earlier, most of the time I told you if your eighth house is inauspicious, increased, do pranayama regularly. Do pranayama regularly. And if you belongs to this, the air related Rasi peoples, do the Ashtanga Yoga first, equip your body, then do the pranayama. And importantly, do the pranayama. Okay. Then the mental pain is also defined, depends upon the which graha placed in the eighth house. What does that mean? If the moon was placed in the eighth house, that too, the Krishna Paksha moon was placed on the eighth house. It's not a good sign. Your mental mood swing will be increased. Your mind is not stable. You worry about everything. You fear about everything. That's not a good state. That will give you some kind of mental pain in you. Okay, this comes into obstacles. The obstacles can be in anything. It can be in your health, it can be in your life, in career, it can be in your marriage life, it can be in your child, the progeny, whatever it is. The obstacles can be in any phase of your life. That is also defined in the eighth house. Okay, mode of the death is also defined here. We don't need to discuss, but once you are coming into the when we learn about the Gregor placed in relevant houses, we will understand what is about the mode of death. Okay, imprisonment is also defined here, and is also defined in the 12th house. So the two things you have to be defining, both combined together to understand the imprisonment of one person. Okay, then and what is also obviously. Okay, sorry. These two things have to be combined together. Your mental pain, worries, disease are combined together to see as in one scale. Okay. All bad things all bad things we define in the eighth house? No. There is an interesting thing about another interesting thing about the eighth house is these peoples are very and very good researchers. And eighth house tell you if the Jataka is a good researcher or not. It clearly establishing the Jataka, he can be able to research anything in this planet. They have an ability to discover something. They have an ability to invent something. These people are very good researchers, particularly if the eighth house auspiciousness of the eighth house is increased. These people are very good in research. Okay, this is also the represent the foreign settlement. The foreign settlement can be defined by various ways. One can go for a study, one can go for a job, or they can permanently settle there, or they went after their marriage, or went to the foreign for the medical treatment, or every other possibilities. Right, the foreign settlement can be anything. It is also represented by the eighth house. Additionally, you have to see the 12th house also. Okay. Then when comes into the particular body parts, it represents the pelvis, uterus. Mainly, if you see the female Jataka, see this house mainly. If they ask about the progeny, they ask about any kind of the women's disease, see this eighth house. If the eighth house was good and auspicious was increased, then something else. Okay. Then there was no problem in the pelvis or the uterus. Seminal vesicles and external genitalia. Mostly related with the reproductive organ system.
Vanita, just same question I want to ask. Let us consider eighth house. There are no planets. Take example of Simulagna. Simulagna, Mithuna is the Vishnarati. Jupiter is the Lord.
Okay, you want to have an example?
Example, Simulagna, and eighth house is empty. No planets are there.
Okay.
Then what is the impact on longevity and etc.?
Okay, where is a Mithuna Lagna you said, right?
No. Lagna is Simulagna. From
Okay.
eighth house from there is start.
Wait a second. So Lagna is a Simha Lagna. In the Lagna, there was no planet.
No planets.
Okay.
And also 8th house also no planets.
Oh, the 8th house also no planet.
Yeah.
Okay, then what's the question here?
Like, what is the impact on etc. longevity, etc.?
Ah, I see. Okay, here is a Simha Lagna. Then this is the sun. Sun is the owner because sun is
Yeah.
thick, but there was no planet in. And we will
So
see.
Jupiter is the owner. Simha Lagna, Sinha. Sun is owner. Yeah. In Simha Lagna. Yeah.
Who's the owner?
No, correct. Sun. I'm thinking about the eighth house is Jupiter. I thought 8th house is Jupiter.
8th house is a Jupiter. Correct. Here there was no planet in it, so Jupiter takes the part. And in your Lagna there was no planet in it, so sun takes the part. Sun takes the role. Okay, here is your Jupiter. Okay, when the Jupiter was there, okay, there is an interesting thing. When the Jupiter was taking a role, it won't give you that much inauspiciousness in your life. The longevity will be good, your lifespan will be good. Okay, then one more thing. Okay, when where is the Jupiter was placed?
Jupiter is in the 3rd house.
So 3. Jupiter was here. It's in the Tula. And 8th house is the Jupiter was there.
8th from 8th, ma'am.
8 from 8. It's a good only. Okay, looks like it's good. The longevity is not going to affect it. Okay, what anybody's suggestion on this? Forget about all other grahas and consider only this. The Lagna is a Simha Lagna. Jupiter is in the 3rd house. 8th house is empty. But the owner of the 8th house was placed in the 3rd house. The Jupiter is also owner of the 5th house.
I have a question. You mentioned if Chandra is placed in the 8th house, Krishna Paksha Chandra is placed in the 8th house, there will be worries and no mental peace and all that.
The voice is breaking. Can you repeat the question again?
You mentioned if Chandra is placed in the 8th house, especially the Krishna Paksha Chandra, you mentioned there will be worries and there won't be mental peace and things like that. What if the Shukla Paksha Chandra is placed in the 8th, which has a drishti of auspicious planet, Jupiter?
Then it is good. But if the moon is not afflicted, the good moon was placed in the 8th house, then the mental pain won't be there. There can be some kind of the mild mood swing will be. But when comparatively against the Krishna Paksha, the mood swing will be very high. They will one day they will decide one thing, the second day they will decide another. The third day they will behave totally different.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, let's come back to someone who said,
Vanita, okay. You've finished that. I have a question too.
okay, let's finish this one first. Okay,
Yeah.
the one is the Lagna is the Simha Lagna, 3rd house is Jupiter, and the Jupiter owns the 5th house and the 8th house. Okay, my conclusion is this person won't have any kind of problem in the longevity. Okay, anybody's input on here? Because when the Jupiter was placed, there was no problem in your longevity of the lifespan.
But what is the how to know what is the longevity exactly? Is it possible to make out? Yeah, longevity. A person longevity depends up to 80, say 70, 80 like that. Full longevity, there's so many factors are there.
Yeah, you got one planet, 1 to 3 planet. You got to define how many years you will live. But when the Jupiter was in the 8th house, it's not a good. It's not a bad sign. It's a very good sign. Maybe the auspicious will be reduced. We have to see other factors also. What are the drishti for the 8th house, and what are the other planets will be placed in? What are the grahas in the 6th house? And when it 6th and the 12th house planet, and who's the owner, we have to combine several other things to find out the lifespan of one person. But in a general way, to define whether the lifespan is affected or the lifespan is going to affect or not, you can easily understand from the Jupiter. Okay. One more thing here. when your Lagna was the fire element, and this is the water element, yes or no?
Yeah.
When these
Yes.
people do the pranayama practice, and with the, because the Jupiter Graha was placed in it, they will, most of the time they feel the calmness in their mind because of the water in nature. The fire and the water, the Lagna nature is, Lagna is the fiery element, but the eighth
Yes.
house is the water element. When it comes into the pranic level of the body won't be get disturbed easy.
Okay. Thank you, madam.
Okay, somebody has something. What is that?
Vanita, I have a question, Vanita.
Hmm.
Like if for the 8th house, the Karka Lagna, that is Karka Lagna, and 8th house, that is the Kumbha Rasi, Saturn is the owner, and Saturn is present. So
Wait a
in
second,
the
wait a
8th
second.
house,
Wait a second, I lost in somewhere. Okay, you said
Okay.
it's a Kumbha Lagna.
it's no, it's a Karka Rasi, that is Karka Lagna.
Okay.
Okay. And no grahas are there in that. And in the 8th house, that is the Kumbha's house, Saturn is present. That is the 8th house.
Saturn is placed. Okay.
Saturn is placed. So what would be the thing like? Because Saturn's
Okay,
own
what
house, he
interesting
loves
about,
that house there. So yeah.
okay, what interesting about this Saturn in the 8th house is good. See, Saturn, when it sits in one house, it will give you its own benefit. What is the Saturn was mainly for? It's your
Discipline and
longevity. You will
yeah.
have a good longevity because Saturn sits in the 8th house. But when the
Okay.
Saturn was see the 8th house, your longevity decreased.
Okay. Okay.
The
But
longevity
okay.
decreased means like a sense like there should be some problem in your lifespan. Maybe you may get some kind of a I don't want to mention you. The Jataka may
It's me
have,
only. That's it's me, mine only.
oh, okay. Because your thing was good. Your lifespan is
Okay.
very good because Sunny will give you a very good lifespan. When the 8th place, when the Sunny was placed, it's very good sign. And you won't be affected with the lifelong disease. How are you now? You won't get affected. That's the thing.
And
Because you
also Jupiter is seeing that place because Jupiter is in the 12th position there. So it is also the 9th aspect of it is coming on the 8th house over there.
okay, but the
Because it is
Sunny
on
will
the
do its
12th.
own work.
Okay.
Because the Graha which sits in its place, that's do its first. When any kind of an actions take place in your life, the Graha which sits in the Rasi first work. Then other kind of the supplements will take place, depends upon the aspect and when the owner was doing another kind of thing. But when the Graha was placed sitting in any of the Rasi, it does its work first. Okay, but this is the
So,
good. This
Vanita,
is the
what
good.
if Saturn was aspecting, not sitting there, but aspecting?
When the Saturn was aspecting the 8th house, that's bad. It decreased the auspiciousness. It decreased the it increased the inauspiciousness. That means your lifespan may be disturbed with any of the things. You may get the Jataka may get an accident, they may injured, or they may get any kind of the stab, any kind of the lifelong diseases, or maybe their prolonged lifespan will be reduced. Okay, imagine a situation.
Okay.
There is a normally average people in this planet going to live for an 80 to 100 years. But if the Saturn was seeing the 8th house, the lifespan will be reduced. Means maybe there is a possibility 50 or 60 they may going into another plane.
Vanita, small. Suppose let us consider the Vrishchik Lagna and the two planets are there in the 8th house, Sun and Venus. Vrishchik Lagna.
Vrishchik Lagna, okay.
8th house is Sun and Venus.
8th house is Sun and Venus. Okay. The Venus, Sun and Venus is also good because Venus won't get much trouble in the 8th house. Venus will get much trouble when it was placed in the 3rd house. Even when the Venus was placed in the 12th house, also it feels ecstasy because when the Venus main attribute is it wants to be in ecstasy mode. It wants to be in a very joyful, happiest mood ever. The 12th will give you that. that kind of an ecstasy. Venus will be very much happy sitting in the 12th house, even in the 12th house. 8th house, it's too much happy. It will be best place for 8th house for Venus. Venus will get suffered when it was in the 3rd house. When compared to the sun is not much good because it was a borderline thing, but it won't affect your lifespan.
Lifespan, longevity, and all, it won't affect.
It won't get affected. Yeah.
Because there are two planets, are Sun and Venus.
When the two planets was there was the tricky thing will happen. If we have to see every other aspects, but here I'm generally saying when the two planets were sitting in an 8th house, because of both the things. Okay, let's see about that. Sun and Mercury, because the owner is the Mercury, Sun treats the Mercury as a neutral relation. Mercury treats the Sun as a friend. When it comes into the Venus and Mercury, friend or enemy.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Friend or enemy? Enemy?
No, Mercury, Venus are friends.
Friends. But the Sun and the Venus, both are enemies. Yes or no?
Yes, mutual.
So this energy level will sponsorate because this one takes place first. Then we have to going into the owner because the owner is not a problem. The owner house is not a problem for the Sun and the Venus. But the grahas which sits in that house, it contradict each other and both are enemy to each other. That may give you the trouble. But when you see the separately, Venus and the Sun won't give you the problem. But when it's combined together, now both are combined. Definitely, it will increase the inauspiciousness. What in another words, there should be the lifelong disease may come. Depends upon we have to see other things also. But up to this point, it won't affect your longevity that much. Any other question? Okay, I'm moving on into the 9th one. Is that okay? Okay, I thought I finished everything today. Let's see into the 9th house. 9th house, definitely everybody will be familiar with the 9th house. It defines mostly about the oneself. That's also the Dharma Trikona. If you know about, definitely we learn about the Trikona mainly for the self. 1, 5 and the 9. So the 9th is part of the Trikona. If the Trikona is having consciousness of one person, the Jataka will be highly increased. If the Trikona was having any one of malefic planets, definitely the person can be suffered with one way or the other. In one aspect of the life or in another way, they will definitely having a suffer. The suffering will be definitely there in each and everyone's life, but the suffering, the degree of the suffering will be different from one to another. Okay, let's coming into the Trikona. In the 9th Trikona defines the self, that is the Jataka itself. 159. Bhakistan. Then this house indicates the Dharma and the fortune, definitely about the father and also the Guru. Here comes the Guru. What kind of the relationship you have with your father, you have with your Guru. This is highly defined in the 9th house. The relationship between the Guru, the relationship between the father will be defined in the 9th house. And the foreign travel. When I say earlier, you remember the foreign settlement, if you have to see from the 8th and the 12th, the foreign travel you have to see from the 9th house. And the publicity, the sector, higher education. Which house you can see for basic education? Anyone? 9th house is 4th house. 4th house we see for the basic education. And 9th house we will see for an higher education. And learn if the particular Jataka is what kind of the learning they will inclined towards. Writing books, if they have an ability to write a book, what kind of the wisdom they will have. And the prosperity, powers of the foresight, religious institutions. Mainly this one is important, religious institution. If if the ninth house was having a good auspicious planet, particularly Guru, then there is a high possibility they one or the other way they associate themselves to any of the religious association, providential help, etc. Okay, now this is the important body parts, the hips and the thighs. If when some of the people are trying to say I'm having a back pain, see the ninth house first. And then if they say the thighs, most of the women's they come back, they have this kind of the problem, hips and the thighs. See the ninth house is well defined, auspiciousness. Okay. This one was easily identified. Whenever you see the ninth house, you can you will feel the joy in yourself also. Okay, now quick question about, now see this. Okay, consider that this is your Lagna, Rakshika Lagna. And this is your Bhagyasthana. Okay, Karka is your Bhagyasthana. Okay, now the quick questions to everyone. Whatever the analysis you have in your mind, tell me that. Lagna is the Vrikshika Lagna, and consider this all the grahas you have. In
Grahas
Lagna,
as
you
it
have,
is given. Okay.
what is it?
No, as given in the chart, the fifth house is Rahu.
This
That
is
is
the
what
entire
is.
chart for the one person. We consider this is the Jataka for oneself. And
Okay.
his or her, we consider his Jataka. This is the male Jataka. Okay. And the Lagna is the Vrikshika Lagna. And there's all the planets in it. In Lagna, there was no planet positive. And the ninth is two planets. One is Surya and second is the Chandra. And the owner is the moon, Karkarasi. And now you will try to find out how you can define the ninth house.
It's a very good chart because the
Good chart actually.
Chandra in
moon
his
is
own house.
Chandra is the owner.
Owner
house.
and they both are friends. Surya likes Chandra and Chandra likes Surya. Both are great.
And also Kuja and Chandra are friends.
Kuja? Oh,
Kuja,
so
Chandra.
that's it.
Chandra is friend of Kuja.
Friend
Kuja is a friend, but Chandra is neutral to Kuja. But anyway, Sun and Chandra are friends. Guru
This
has
is the Guru Mangalam. Guru Mangalam. The Lagna, which is the Lagna is Rashi is owner is the Mangal. Mangal was placed in the Rishabha along with the Guru. Both of them were auspicious, but sitting in an enemy's place. Who's the owner? Venus is the owner.
Venus.
And this kind of the person. Okay, now ninth house defined. Okay, let's see the fifth house. Fifth house is the Rahu. One malefic.
That is malefic, no? So
Yeah,
Trikona.
malefic planet, yes.
Mm.
The Lagna, which is sitting, the owner is sitting along with the Guru, but in the enemy's house. But the Guru Mangala Yoga will be there. Anyway, the enemy's house won't, it will give some kind of an obstacles, but this yoga will definitely perform. And the Rahu in the fifth house, it defines about the progeny and other stuff. Now you don't need to understand. Now we are only concentrating on the Dharmasthana, this one. Okay, now we narrow down our objective. Here, Surya and Chandra, when the two major planets means one is Atma Karaka, that is Suryan, and the Chandra is the Manakaraka, that is your defining anything about your mind. Both the things were placed in the good place. When it comes into the Karka, Sun and Moons are the king and the queen, and the place was really good. And the Surya, when it comes into the Surya, one is Budan and the Shukran was placed. And now when you see in the ninth house, this is the good sign. The auspicious definitely increase. Surya Chandra placed in the one place. We will see about this yoga also later sometime when the Surya and the Chandra combined together in one Rasi. When okay, any other things anybody want to add here?
No, but Vanita, if nothing is there in the ninth house, how do you then say there is
Okay,
like
consider there was no planet in it. being considered.
But in the 5th place, you have 2 malefic or 3 malefic planets.
Okay,
and nothing
consider
in
there
the
was
Lagna.
no planet here. Okay.
Yeah.
Here in the 9th house, there was, let me change the color. Okay, considered in the 9th house, there was no planet. Okay, in the situation, the moon have to be placed in somewhere here, right? Anywhere
Yeah,
in
if it is in the Vrishchika itself, for example.
Vrishchika itself. Okay.
But then that is a debilitated position, no?
Okay, then here is an interesting thing will come. Okay, when the moon was placed in the Lagna, and that is also debilitated, it's not a good sign. The Lagna, the self will have, the mind is not that much courage. They will have an
Fecal mind. No?
fear about everything. And the mind is not that much having a good strength. Okay, when there was no moon in it, but the moon was placed in the Lagna was the moon is depleted in the Vrishchika Rasi. Here, in the 9th house, also you have to consider the moon only.
Yeah, because the owner is moon there.
Because there was
Karka.
no planet in it. There was no planet in it, then you have to consider the owner only. Who is the owner? Moon is the owner. Moon, where
Moon
it
is
is
the one.
placed, it was placed in a depleted position. So then you have to exactly take over that kind of the significance of the moon and applied it here. Okay, when you have
So the
that,
debilitated moon we have to apply there in the Lagna.
in
That 9th
the
position.
9th house also, depleted moon will come because the moon's energy is already reduced. There was no energy will be there. Then when you come back here with the depleted moon, what is the 9th house is going to say to you?
About the relations, the father-in-law and all the
Okay, here it indicates your dharma, your fortune.
dharma, fortune, foreign travel.
But in
This
this
will be
case,
getting
I have a question. But in this case, it has drishti of Lagnadipati as well as Jupiter. Chandra has drishti of Guru as well as Lagnadipati, means Mars.
Okay, whenever you have the aspect of the afflicted planet, the auspicious will be increased a little bit only because the energy level of the moon is already depleted. It didn't have an energy to okay. Imagine the situation. This is the cell, and the graha which is placed in its moon, it's already lost its all kind of an energy. The energy didn't get considered. You have this kind of a container, and the container was completely closed. And the Mangal and the Guru was okay, give me. Okay, here. The moon was depleted means it won't give you the auspicious even for a 1%. So now it was in that state. When the Guru and the Mangal was aspecting here, that their energy won't be filled with there was no place for it. Even though the Guru and Mangal was aspecting, the moon is not going to give you. Remember this, there was two things here. The moon is not have an ability to give here, but the owner who sit there, it may give you that energy. That's why
Lagna may be good, but not the 9th house.
That's why it was little bit tricky and complicated. When you see number of the Jataka, you will get to understand this one. But here, this point, the moon is not having energy. Moon is not having whole others grahas energy or having an accepting the another grahas energy. But the Guru and Mangal, when it was in the owners, have an ability to hold that accepting that energy, that will give you a different perspective of that person. Okay, at this point, okay, let's simplify the process. This auspiciousness for this Jataka, when the moon depleted moon will be very less. The auspicious really, really very less. When that kind of the inauspicious moons will come into the 9th place, and all kind of the thing which is go for your relationship with your father and the Guru will be affected, your fortune will be less, and you can't even ability to perform your dharma also. Everything comes into place. Whenever you try to perform your dharma also, imagine a situation, you have to perform this dharma in your life. But your mind will give thousands and thousands of the thoughts, and you don't have an energy in your mind level. You may physically fit, you may physically strong, you can able to do all kind of the work. but in your mind, you are not zero, you are at a 0% stand, then nothing will be useful in your front level, right? That kind of the situation will come for this person. Okay, this is an imaginary situation, but leave this one. Let's come back to here. Okay, imagine this situation. Now, anybody wants to add the 9th house when the Surya and Chandra was in the 9th house? For this one, this is the very good. They can able to perform the dharma. The relationship with the father and the guru will be definitely good. Why? Because the Surya will be there at the 9th house. The father will be a very dominant administrative person, and the guru is also shining as the sun, and he have a very, very good relationship. And definitely for this one, they have high possibility of foreign travel, and if the wisdom will be high, all kind of the good things you can say for that. Okay. Now we'll quickly move into the 10th one. We will finish the class after that. Okay. Okay. Why? This is the karma sthana. Okay. When anybody wants to see the moon horoscope, see the two houses combined together. One is 9, one is 10. Dharma karma. There is also one yoga called Dharma Karmadipati Yoga. When you have a dharma and you have the karma is also in a place, very good place, and we will see this yoga in later session also. But whenever you see the horoscope, combine it together, this 9th and the 10th house, and see that person's horoscope as well. Okay, then the 10th house defined with the karma sthana. It's a karma bhava. So when this important house indicates your profession, which is the other house defines the job, 6th house defines your job, and the 10th house defined your profession. If you want to open a business, you want to start your own thing, see the 10th house. If you want to go to a job and earn from your working in a job, see the 6th house. And when you want to start a business, see the 2nd house, 7th house, lagna, and the 10th house. These combined together will give you, and also additionally 11th house combined together will give you. You have an ability to start a business, ability to make a revenue. You have a knowledge of investing, and if you want to have understanding about an investing, see the 5th house also. To combine it together, you can able to understand, you can able to produce the wealth in your business, or you can be able to run a business without a debt. Or another important thing about is how this particular person can able to get a government favor and the trade business, particularly this one, you can easily understand from the 10th house. And what kind of the command and the honor, what kind of an occupation. And this one, adapted sun, is also defined in the 10th house. All questions regarding worldly activities and moral responsibilities, because this is about the karma sthana, it defined in the 10th house itself. When it comes into the body parts, knees, your joints, bones, hair, and the back. When your 10th house is good, and you won't hesitate to do any karma in your life. So if there were 10th house is afflicted in one or the other way, what is the mean affliction? If the inauspiciousness was increased, what is the meaning of inauspicious? It was sitting in the enemy's house, or the owner is retrograde, then the graha was placed in that rasi or in a depleted position or aspected by the malefic planets, all kind of the scenario will give you this planet is afflicted. Okay. When the afflicted planet was set in the 10th house, then it gives in the negative effects. The profession, in your profession, you struggle, everybody will grow, you may not grow, and the status in your life may not be proficient enough, or it not satisfy you. You may not have the honor and the power and authority which you decide in your life. You may have that power, you may have that authority in your life, but it will not be in your skill level. You may be one step down. You have an ability to move forward, but you may not be when the graha was afflicted. But when the 10th, this is all the negative things. Consider a situation. When the 10th house Karmasthana will be highly energetic and auspicious was 80 to 100%, and your profession will be grow like anything. You will shine in your profession, and you will be in one of 1,000 peoples. You will be the topmost in your profession, and you have a commanding ability will be really high. You will have definitely have a government favor. What is it kind of a government favor? Any kind of a documentation or any kind of the help which you received from the government. Even your responsibility will fulfill. Your worldly activities you will definitely satisfy and feel content in your life. And but importantly, if the 10th house was good, your knees, joint, bones, and hair and back are definitely good. It's suppose in this thing, if the 10th house got afflicted, one thing I will say is to do the Surya Namaskar. If you are at an age where you can able to move your body easily, do the Surya Namaskar. That is the best option. Supposing if you are in a situation, I'm not able to walk, I'm not able to stand myself, then do the Gayatri Mantra if possible. And then you feel that no, I don't have an initiation of the Gayatri Mantra. Okay, then chant yourself whichever the mantra you have, you received from an elders or the universal mantra, Hare Krishna or Om Namah Shivaya. You chant this mantra, that will pacify your energy level.
I have a
Mm.
So everything in here, I think the hairs should not be there. Because,
I can hear you
for
only
me-
anything. Can you
No. Okay, so if the 10th house is good, the body parts, when under body parts, you have hairs listed, right? But for me, the 10th house is great. Everything matches except the hairs. I'm bald.
What is that? What is that saying?
Everything else match except the hairs.
Okay,
I'm,
what
I'm,
is
I'm a bald guy.
Oh,
Hair
I
is
see.
not good.
Oh, I see.
Everything else is good. Everything
Okay,
else matches.
okay, bald hair is a different story. Okay, how is your son? I mean, son where it was placed.
Vanita, all rich people are bald.
No.
Okay,
No, but everything else matches. Everything else
okay, where
tries
is
to
your
be
son? In your Jataka, where is your son?
Kataka. Karka.
Any of the planet was aspecting your son?
No. No. But 10th house also has Ketu.
Oh, that's the
Ketu
thing.
is placed
That's the thing. When the Ketu was involved with the sun or Ketu was involved with in the third house
No,
or
Ketu is in the 10th house.
Ketu is in the
10th house.
Oh, that's define everything. When the Ketu was in the 10th house, you will definitely feel about your hair. I will tell you one more thing also. If the Ketu was in the third house, you definitely feel about your hair. And the 10th house is highly defined.
Feeling about our hair or we lose hair?
In the 10th house, the hair fall is defined if the Ketu was present. If the third house,
Hair fall is boosted. Hair
if
fall is
hair
boosted.
fall is boosted, yes. If the third house you have a Ketu, you feel about your hair all the time. Why my hair was not growing? Why my hair getting gray? Why my hair was not long enough? Why my hair was not curly? You feel all about the hair. But
Oh my God, it's amazing.
other feels that okay, your hair was good. Other feel like that, but you are feeling because the Ketu will do the job.
But Vanita, I have it in the 5th house, but I am in the same boat. My hair is thinning day by day.
Repeat about this. Sorry, my
Okay, I'm also
connection.
able to hear you. Ketu was in the 5th house. Then what is
5th
that?
house, but it is in Richika. 5th house along with Moon and Mars. And my Lagna is Karka.
Lagna is the that's the depleted moon, right? Moon
Yeah.
along with the
Mars
and Ketu.
Ketu. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Moon and the Ketu, it's a bad combination. Moon and the
very
Ketu
bad.
is very bad combination. I will tell you this much.
Okay.
When your mind will run fast, and your thought process will run. Your mind will goes very fast. But when you are putting all into an action, that will take large amount of time, because your mind will goes fast enough. You are not able to reach it. Did you feel like that? Because you are a depleted moon, this may get deeper.
Yeah, I think fast, but sometimes, as you said earlier, for the Dharmasthana, some kind of mind only plays a havoc sometimes. Yeah, that is true.
When the Ketu was combined with the moon, there is no other choice. It's a natural thing.
It pulls us back, no, from doing. It's not about laziness or lethargy. I want to
No.
do it, but something
You have a very good
stops
combination
it.
for one. Okay, well, you have a very good combination for one thing also. When the moon and the Ketu was combined together, do meditation. That will, you will get a lots and lots of answer by doing a meditation alone.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, but 10th house is empty. Nothing is there. But I also have joint issues and the hair is depleted hair. That's a little concern. That's
Okay, you have, when anybody having a joint issue, okay, then if you have an ability to move your body at least vigorously at some level, do the Surya Namaskar. Surya Namaskar, importantly, one thing you have to follow. Do Surya Namaskar except the full moon, except the new moon. When the full moon started, don't do Surya Namaskar. Okay, because the energy level is too high, you can't able to bear that.
okay. I do yoga regularly though.
Okay, then follow this one. Don't do the Surya Namaskar on the full moon and then new moon. When the full moon started, stop the Surya Namaskar. When the new moon started, stop the Surya Namaskar. Other days you can do that. Other 14 days you do the Surya Namaskar regularly. But
Thanks.
add this also. When the new moon coming, full moon on that day, do the Chandra Namaskar. There is also the Chandra Namaskar. Do the Chandra Namaskar. If your body was allowing too much, you do the Akash Namaskar. That is the whole different level. If your body allows you, you can able to move your body's flexibility is high, then do the Akash Namaskar.
Yeah, I can do actually. I'm flexible, quite flexible too. Yeah.
Oh, then do that Akash Namaskar, because that will help you to remove the knees joint pains. Not completely, but it can give you the strength to your knees and the joints.
Okay. Thanks.
The practice have to be consistent, but remember this point. Don't do that on the
meditation
moon, and do the moon namaskar, Chandra Namaskar on the Chandra Namaskar means there was a little bit variation in the Surya Namaskar only. But the Chandra Namaskar will flow the energy level in a different way. Whenever you are doing the Surya Namaskar, the number of the nadis which is going, the energy level will be open and close will be different. When the Chandra Namaskar, when you are doing the opening and the closing of the nadis will be different. So, little bit different only, but if you know that, practice the Chandra.
I'll check it out. I can check with the master. I can check it.
And do the Chandra Namaskar and the full moon and the new moon. That is the best and the best day for that. And other than you do the Surya Namaskar as usual. But importantly, if you have an energy level, okay, what is your lagna?
My lagna is Karka.
Karka, it's a water element. Okay, you can do it a number of times. It won't affect you. But if you are born on the fire element, you can also increase the count vigorously. If you are born on an air element, do it Surya Namaskar very slowly, steadily. Don't increase the speed drastically. When you are doing the Surya Namaskars, number of the people do it in such a way that they do it as in a warm-up. Don't do it as in a warm-up, because you can do it as in a warm-up, because it's your water element is a lagna. You can do it as in a warm-up. Increase the speed. How many times you can do Surya Namaskar?
No, normally we are doing 6 rounds. That is 12. 6 sets.
That's more than enough. But if you are going to increase, also slowly and steadily increase. Go with the 8, the 10, 11, 12. Slowly and steady. Yeah.
Okay.
Vanitha, you mentioned Akasha Namaskara. When do we have to do it? If you can, if you're able to do, instead of Chandra Namaskara, do Akasha Namaskara. Is that what you mentioned?
No.
Okay.
Surya Namaskar is the best thing. It's common for everybody. Generally the people can follow. If you go and learn in the YouTube also, everybody was doing the Surya Namaskar. That's the best thing. With the 12 and the 12 steps, it will increase, it will open the nadis and close the nadis in a proper way. That's why the people will insist on inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale. The inhale and exhale, nothing but it will close the nadi, opens the nadi so that the blood flow and the air flow will be properly through the nadis. That's why you have to be concentrate on inhale and exhale. Whenever you do every step on the Surya Namaskar, if you keenly watching, there was one strong press on the one chakra. So, for example, if you move upward, when you are in a Bhujangasana, there was a strong stretch in your throat. That's for the Vishuddhi. When you are in a Ashtang Namaskar, there was then a little bit stretch on your chest level. There's kind of a slight push on every part of your body that opens and close your notice. That's about the Surya Namaskar. Anyone can do it. Like how if you wear the Panchamukha Rudraksha, anybody can wear like that. Anybody can do the Surya Namaskar. That won't affect you. But there was a little bit tweaks here and there you have to do. That's why you have to go for a teacher. The important tricks here is you should not do the Surya Namaskar on the high level moon days, high energy moon days. That is your Surya Namaskar, full day and the full moon day and the new moon day. Surya Namaskar is not good. Particularly when you have the Chandra Grahana, Surya Grahana also, any eclipse was happening, Surya Namaskar is not good. Why? Because Surya Namaskar will increase the fire in your body. Knowingly, unknowingly, you will increase the fire in your body. Your body in nature was already fiery, and you will increase the fire in your body. It's not good for you. But the people who are born on the water element, they feel enjoyment in the Surya Namaskar because they need the fire in them. Okay, let's coming into the thing. Surya Namaskar, anybody can do. That's why you follow that. But consistently you follow. Your body have to be acute. Chandra Namaskar, there is a little bit two posture only you have to modify. So that's why Chandra Namaskar, Surya Namaskar, anybody can do. But when it comes into the Akash Namaskar, it's totally a different story. Your flexibility have to be increased. Your balance have to be increased. There you have to do balance asana. In the Chandra and Surya Namaskar, there is no balancing asana. But when it comes into an Akash, you are increasing the Akashic energy. You are actually inviting the Akashic energy into your body. But that energy level, you need the balance in your body. Like how you are balancing the crow pose, how you are balancing the Ashtavakra asana. Kind of a balancing, you have to do it in the Akash Namaskar. Few people can teach that. I don't know how many people will teach you, but that needs a lots and lots of effort. We have to be very, very consistent in your practice. Then you can move ahead with the Akash Namaskar. There are the different kind of Namaskars will be there. The Surya Chandra, Earth Namaskar, Namaskar also will be there. But until you learn the Akash Namaskar, that's more than enough. If you learned about the Surya Chandra Namaskar, that's totally enough. You will live your life without disease. But if you want to enhance and you want to challenge yourself, go with learn the Akash Namaskar. At this point, you understand what is that?
Yes, Vani.
Okay. Now we'll close the lesson today. Any questions till now? We'll see the 11th and the 12th house in the next class. We'll start a different session. We'll start with a different class on the next class also. Okay. Any doubts till now?
I just have a comment. I think for the longevity, there is something called as Ayurveda calculation. I think it's just gives you how far each graha is from the Ucha Rashi, Uchasthana, and then there is number for every graha. So I think it will tell you if you are Alphayu or Madhyamayu or Dirghayu or Purnayu. So there are like different classifications. I think Ayurveda calculation can tell how long, because somebody else had a question. What if something? So there is a range for those periods. So you can calculate based on that Ayodhya. We have to study a little bit advanced.
Vanita, no.
Hmm. Anybody? I heard my name. What's that?
Vanita, one question. Is there any particular house or positions of planets, combination of planets in particular house? Can we talk about birth, rebirth or not? I mean, about is there a chance of rebirth or no rebirth?
We'll do
heard
that. We'll do that.
about-
We'll come into the 12th house. We'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
Anything? Okay. Then that's an end of the class. We'll see you on the next week. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you.